We've finally come to the end of our journey of creating a zero draft, and that is turning our plot outline into scene beat that a scene beat completion prompt will use to co-write the story with us. And in this video, we're going to look at two different scene beat from summary prompts. So the first prompt we're going to use is the one that was designed to turn plot outlines into scene beats. Scenes from summer. It says single POV. I need to do some more testing to find out what differences or what changes I need to make, if any, to do multiple POVs. I'm thinking you would probably set your plot outline up just to do one POV and then have another plot outline for the second POV and then run them independently as if they were like two different novels. And then you're going to choose which act. Act 1, 2, 2A, 2B, 3, and we'll use Mistral Medium. And by setting the acts, what you're doing is telling it is it note 160, 161, 162, or 163, where your plot outline with just the scenes for a single act are located. So in this case, it's going to be looking at note 160, and it does that automatically for you. Let's begin. Default is it's going to give you 12 beats. I think that's something Space Emotion has established as kind of the default. Alright, so it's given us 3,600 words to work with. And as always, save it as a snippet. And like everything else, go in and clean it up. And really, the only thing we need to get rid of is this stuff here at the bottom. And the way I would use this is I would actually pin the scene beats to the screen, maybe collapse that, go into write mode, create a new scene, say 600 words. And I would probably only do like 6 at a time, but we'll try doing the whole, there we go, just that. And then select your favorite scene beat completion prompt. RC Blitz. Yeah, let's give that one a try. And I've got an example scene beat in a scene beat completion thing if you're, kind of rolling your own. And although I've got it commented out, sometimes it tries to use it, but you can delete that. You should also be editing your chapter guidance to give it kind of the tone and a brief overview. In this scene, character A is going to be doing this. This is their goal. But character B is going to be opposing them. And just a brief summary of what you want to happen. Beat instructions or any additional things. For the most part, we're just going to say, go ahead and generate. So RC Blitz doesn't understand the assignment. You're not supposed to put the beat numbers in there. But it did give us 1,000 words out of this scene beat. But I also have it set up so that in the codex you would save the modified or your revised snippet into a codex entry. And this is to make it easier to export. I mean, you can export snippets, With a codex entry, it's easier to go into workshop chat and ask questions and reference, note 165A as opposed to trying to give it a snippet name. Chat is really more geared, I think, towards using codex entries. It's just a way of keeping your scene beats in two different places. So we will close this and we will give this prompt another shot with a different LLM just to see the differences in how they interpret the way to make scenes and scene beats. We'll tell it Act 2, use Grok 3 Mini. So Grok 3 is going to start out telling you what it's about to do and why and give you its whole life story. But it has decided instead of 12, it's going to do 6, but it's going to give you nice chunky scene beats to work with. So yeah, 2,000 words. So the same thing, I'd pin this and then go and use a scene beat completion prompt to actually write the scene. So that is the first prompt, and that's again mostly designed for taking entire plot outlines and turning them into scene beats. But there is another one that we can use, and it's designed more for kind of on-the-fly scene beat creations. You could also turn those the acts into scene beats. And it's started with the system's scene beats from summary prompt and just kind of got out of hand. But scene beats from source. The system one just has by number. How many scene beats do you want? So you can do that if you just want to say, I only want six scene beats. I have it set up with 3 additional scene structure formats. So the most common one that everybody's familiar with is scene SQL. And if you like scene SQL, you choose that. There is 5 commandments, which I think was Robert McKee came up with. And if you're familiar with StoryGrid, I believe they're a fan of 5 commandments. And then the last one is 8 crafts, which just doing a search to find out, well, what scene structures are out there. This one come up. It's fairly new. A guy wrote a book called The 8 Crafts of Storytelling, and then he's got this 8 crafts scene structure. We'll do scene SQL, our source. In this case, we're going to tell it, and I skipped him again. We'll give it Act 1. But it could be a snippet, it could be a codex, anything. And then what format do you want? Do you want bullets, or do you do like narrative for your scene beats? I'll go with narrative, and then any additional instructions you want to give it. And here, instead of looking at it as individual scenes, it's like, okay, well, you've got a scene with some scene information. Here's 2 beats for scene 1. Scene 2 has 3 beats, and so on. Yeah. And we can do, well, we'll just continue with this chat session. Say bullets, do 5 commandments. Act 2 and that just did the one scene? It did. So this is why you experiment with different models, because this one, I mean, it's a really nice scene and scene beat breakdown, but it's like, well, there are other scenes in there you need to do. But anyway, something to experiment. And again, this scene beats from source is really designed for, just feeding it, hey, I've just come up with this idea for a scene. Here's my notes. Give me some scene beats for it. But again, as we saw, depending on the LLM model you use, you can turn your entire plot outline into scene beats using this prompt. So we've come to the end of the brainstorming and planning process, and we've got everything we need to write. So go out there and write your story.
If you have any questions, I highly recommend joining the Novelcrafter Discord. Thanks for watching and keep writing. Future readers are waiting for your stories.